now buy heroic accessories from the vendor on the Korean server. It's going to be available on the global servers this coming Thursday. You can buy these accessories from the vendor for 80 entropy shards. You also will have a chance to get them if you beat Calanthea in Nightmare mode, which I doubt it's gonna be really soon. So your best bet is to save your entropy shards to obtain and also upgrade your heroic accessories. Also, there's a very low chance that you can get it from this precious blessing pouch chaos, which is just 0.012%, which is lower than the heroic weapons. Alright, the main question is gonna be which heroic accessories that you're gonna get, which one is the best for you, which one is BIS. Luckily, we have some info on questlog.gg, which I'm gonna share you all of the accessories, the stats, and also which one might be suitable for your class. So let's start with the heroic necklace. The necklace is not gonna be the best in slot accessories for pure DPS classes. This is because it has a defensive stats in one of the rune synergy effect, which is critical damage resistance, as you guys can see right here. However, the critical hit chance on the base stats of 165 is really good if you're stacking crit. You can't choose critical hit chance in the heroic effects, however you can only choose 8 dexterity, which is equivalent to 40 crit. However, the heroic necklace will have the most critical hit chance among all the heroic accessories. However, you'll be lacking other stats such as attack speed, cooldown speed, plus one of the defensive stats in the rune synergies. So if your class can really perform well with crit, for example, if you're a healer, the neck piece might be the one for you. As for the traits, it's going to be similar to your necklace. We have max mana, mana regen, skill damage boost, which is really crucial, and also buff duration. For the heroic trait, we have the heavy attack chance, critical hit chance, and the rest are kind of like for PvP, like hit chance, endurance, critical damage reductions, and so on. Also, if you're wondering at level 1 what stats does it give you 7 stats at level 1 and 10 stat at max level 12. Alright, next we have the heroic ring, which I believe is the best for pure DPS classes. This is because firstly, it has an offensive stats, the attack speed. Secondly, if you see the rune synergy, it has 1 stat and also 1 offensive stat, which is the cooldown speed. In addition to that, you can choose critical hit in the heroic effect, which has 160. You can also choose heavy attack chance and also 2 stats if you wish. However, there won't be any dexterity stats. But for PvE, it doesn't really matter because we already have 160 crit chance, which is way more than just 8 dexterity, which is equivalent to just 40 critical hit chance. As for the traits, it's going to be similar to any other ring. We have max mana, mana regen, skill damage boost, which is really important, and also the buff duration. For your heroic traits, we're going to be choosing heavy attack chance, which I believe is the best. You can also choose critical hit chance if you're lacking crit. The rest are going to be for PvP, like hit chance, evasion, and also heavy attack evasion. Alright, next we have the heroic braces. As you can see, it has a defensive PvP stats, which is heavy attack evasion. However, if you see the rune synergies and also the heroic effects, you can choose attack speed, which means for classes that heavily rely on attack speed, such as maybe Gladiator, Ravager, the heroic braces might be BIS for you guys. So for example, here we can choose 1 stat, crit, and also attack speed, or you can choose double stats with attack speed. As for the traits, it's going to be like any other braces. We have max mana, mana regen, skill damage resistance instead of skill damage boost, and also debuff duration instead of buff duration on the necklace and also ring. And finally, we have the heroic traits. You can pick heavy attack chance, also crit chance if you're lacking that. The rest are for PvP, including hit chance, evasion, and also heavy attack evasion. Defense is not that great because they don't scale that well. If you have a lot of defense already, the more defense that you get, it just won't be any value there. So you can totally skip that. Alright, next we have the heroic belt. This is the best BIS for PvE tanking, and also you can use it for PvP healing. We have fortitude as the primary stats, and also damage reduction. And if you look at the rune synergies, this is the only heroic piece that has boss damage reduction or some sort of stats related to boss. So I assume this is BIS for PvE. So we're gonna choose that as well as the crit damage resistance. As for the heroic effects, you can have double stats, as well as endurance to really pump your endurance. You can stack more endurance later in the heroic traits. So for the traits, we have the regular traits. For the belt, like max health, skill damage resistance, and also buff duration. You can also choose collision resistance if you're playing PvP as a healer. And for the heroic traits, we can go for endurance, and also that critical damage resistance, which is a really good stat, as it's not going to be available on many of your gear. Alright, finally we have the heroic earrings. It's currently BIS for PvP tanking, and also if you're stacking endurance for PvP. If you look at the base stats, it has perception as well as endurance. As for the rune synergies, we have fortitude, critical hit chance, fortitude, damage reduction. So if you're unable to get that Nebula earring, this might be a huge upgrade for you guys that are focusing on PvP. For the heroic effects, you guys can straight up choose all 3 stats, or you can improve your back evasion, back endurance, back heavy attack evasion, and also back damage reduction. These are all PvP related, and it won't really matter in PvE. As for the traits, it's going to be similar like any other earring. We have all the back, side, front, have attack chance, crit chance, also hit chance. For the heroic traits, we have endurance, critical damage resistance. That is huge if you PvP. If you're lacking hit for PvP, that is a good stat as well for your heroic traits. Other than that, you can choose evasion, heavy attack evasion, and you can also choose to go offensive with heavy attack chance or critical hit chance. That wraps up to this video. Don't forget to hit that like and also subscribe. As always, this is your regular adventurer Kasum to help you guys out. Peace out.